Welcome to the Wing Chun Qigong YouTube channel. My name's Jordan, and I'm going to take you through a quick overview of the Shen Gong course. This is the third course provided. By this stage, you would have already learned how to use your physical body in the correct manner from the Wing Chun Qigong course. You would have learned how to tap in to your bioenergy, or what we can call the chi or astral field. And now in this course, we extend on that by providing just a few more techniques, but also a different way to use your mind. Hence the name of the course, which is Shen Gong, which means either spirit or your mind. So in this course, you're taking everything you've learned. We're adding on a few more techniques, but by the end of the course, you're taking all of those components like little Lego blocks, and then I can provide a sort of a substance that where everything took weeks to learn, and you practice them individually. You can take those components now and put them together. So just like Lego blocks, where they're individual pieces, but you can put them together to build something greater than the sum of the parts. That's really the point of the course, is the culmination of everything. In this, our real aim, or the pinnacle of it, is to awaken another type of energy that resides within the body and mind. And this goes by a number of different names, like Yuan Qi or Yang Qi, from the Taoist perspective. And different countries, especially in yoga, would have differing names for this energy, such as Kundalini. So this energy itself, once awakened, is what I would call the sort of tipping point of Nai Gong, where you're really practicing the internal art. Now, the interesting thing is, all of the techniques that I've given through every course, you could call them Nai Gong. They're Nai Gong techniques. But it's not until you've really matured each and every component of the physical, and the correct tapping in of the energetic, and then also the yoking of different techniques in the mental, that you can tap in and awaken this energy, that it can be used for multiple purposes. Those being, and we can take this direct from, say, Shaolin, where you can have a healing modality, you can have the martial modality, and you can also have the spiritual modality. So those three courses really line you up with all the foundational pieces that lead to one of those three specialities. Of course, you can pick all of them. You could pick one of them, two of them. It's really about what your preference is and what you feel like your life purpose is. There's people out there who are healers. There's people out there who are martial artists. And there's other people out there who are just purely into meditation and spiritual. So, of course, this course itself, the majority of it is a seated position Qigong, whilst the previous two courses, it's a standing position. When proficient at it, you can reintegrate that back into standing, of course. But this really covers really many, if not all, of all the necessary is probably the way to put it, because there's so many techniques, but all the necessary techniques that you can achieve this goal in a relatively short period of time. I finish off the course because there are many ways to awaken this energy, and I think that can cause a bit of confusion or sort of dichotomy. It's like, no, this is the only way, or this is the only way. But no, there's many ways, and what I believe is presented here is one of the best ways. I'm not saying it is the best. I think that would be a bit too much hubris, but one of the best ways to easily be able to achieve this, even if you have a working career and other things outside of life. If you don't, obviously you'll achieve it much faster if you dedicate all your time and energy into these practices. The reason I've set it up with these three is there is a following course, which is the Yi Jin Jing course. And peppered throughout this multiple set exercise are all of these little Lego pieces. So I found that if people were just given the Yi Jin Jing course, it's so much to take in that it takes sort of a larger amount of time where there's sort of deficiencies, because you might be good at doing the physical part of it, but you're not doing the internal part of it or the energetic part of it, and you're not doing the mental part of it, right? So there's this balancing act. But if you've had this consecutive piece by piece learning all of these individual components, then my goal is that when I hand over the teaching for the Yi Jin Jing, that it might be a certain movement, but there's something going on inside and there's something that's going on mentally, then you would already have practiced that somewhere else. And so you're like, well, I know what that energy component is. Now I can just do this movement and bring the two together. And also you need my mind like this, so I integrate that in too, and it builds a complete package. In comparison, if I were to hand that over, I think people would get a little confused unless they'd had sort of years of practice. Well, there we go. There's the course in a nutshell. And I believe that's a real solid foundation that people can go and focus on those three things I mentioned before. But of course, there are courses to come, such as the Silnim Dao or Small Thought, or Chum Q or Sinking the Bridge, or Bill G Piercing Hands. And that's where we start wrapping around the martial components. And but we don't forget about all of these bodily, energetic, spiritual, and mental components that are to be integrated into these sets. I will talk more about those sets in a future video, but you can have a look at it and think of it. These three courses are like the utility. They're like you know, if you look at a city, you want to have gas, electricity, water, sewerage. There's this like utility that you need to build the city. And if we look at that, that's what all these courses are. And then as we get into the martial component, it's like building out the city itself. But of course, the martial parts, just doing those, we will focus in on, well, how does that relate to fighting and so forth, so you don't get out of touch, where there's people who can just do purely say spiritual / meditation pieces and can get out of touch with their own philosophies and so forth. And then there's, you know, people doing martial components, and there's a few tricks and things that I see online. And does that really help you when somebody's trying to take your life, or out to knock you out, or whatever, harm you in a drastic way? So the future courses are really focused on that you're able to protect yourself when in a dire situation, which is probably the most important thing you really need out of a martial training, excluding, you know, health and well-being, all those pieces that are in it. But to say that you've done something martially and you can't protect yourself is really a disastrous and waste of life. All right, I hope that helps, and I'll be in touch later with some future videos. You have a great day.